everybody. Welcome back to the Fumble Live. Thank you for tuning in today. Now, we have to talk about Jaylen Brown and the Celtics. As I'm sure you guys have all heard, he is now out for the rest of the season. We're also talking about the Knicks and who we should give the most credit to for their success this season. And then, of course, as you guys saw in the title, we're getting into Russell Westbrook and some drama that went down with Bradley Beal and Kent Bazemore. But before we do all that, make sure you subscribe to our channel, tap the bell for notifications, give this video a thumbs up, and leave a comment below. Here's the Fumble Squad. I'm Devin Howard. You can find me on Instagram as @DevinHoward.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Jackie Ray. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter @JRayTheFanatic. Oh,
Jackie.
Snap. I totally forgot. Okay, and guess what day it is? It's Taco Tuesday.
It's okay, Jackie. You get a pass this week because you are very stressful for you today. So I'm sorry about that, but we got it done. It is Taco Tuesday. Now, before we get into the news, give us a quick little update. How are you feeling about the move? Did you make as much progress yesterday as you were hoping that you would?
I didn't make any progress at all yesterday. I had a really long day yesterday. I started another journalistic venture yesterday, which was exciting, but it was a long day. But now I'm back. I promise you guys, I know everything looks a hot mess right now because I don't know where yet I'm going to put my little Fumble set up. So I'm now in this little tiny corner. It literally have like no elbow room, but that's okay. Tomorrow's going to be a better day. I promise. It has to be.
Well, Jackie, it took me quite some time to figure out where I was going to set up my station, and I have moved it all around my little apartment to find the best spot. And now I'm sitting in my little dining nook, which also leaves me very little room. And I'm sure you've noticed whenever I get up to get off camera, I'm trying to manipulate my body around my backdrop. It's very difficult. So you know what? That's LA living, work from home life. We got to make it work. It can be a little bit tough. I'm glad that you were settled into your new place. You've got this new job. You're doing a lot of cool stuff. So I feel like this is a really good period of time for you. Congratulations, Jackie.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Let's jump into this news about the Celtics and the Knicks. So first, we're talking about Jaylen Brown. So he is out for the rest of the season with a torn ligament in his left wrist. The team announced that news on Monday. He's expected to have surgery to repair the ligament later this week. And this is obviously a major blow, not only for Jaylen Brown, but for the team as well. He's been a very durable athlete throughout his career. He's never missed more than 12 games in a season, but now obviously he's going to miss the Celtics' entire postseason run. So this is very unusual for him. He's not one of these athletes that we see who gets injured over and over and over again. There are some guys like that. Jaylen Brown is not one of them. So this is obviously very devastating. And it's particularly damaging to the Celtics given where they are in the standings right now. So they're 2 games behind Miami Heat for the number 6 seed in the Eastern Conference. And I feel like they already were sort of at a disadvantage. Their hopes of overcoming the team that beat them in the Eastern Conference Finals last season were already kind of slim. And now without Jaylen Brown on the floor with them, their odds have decreased even more. And they're probably going to be forced into the play-in round without one of their best players. So clearly it's a major blow to the team, and it makes their postseason run feel a little bit fuzzy, a little bit up in the air. So do you think with the roster that they have available to them now, Jackie, that they're going to be able to compete to some of these bigger teams in the Eastern Conference like the Nets, the Sixers, and the Bucks?
No, and this is unfortunate because I just think this is one of those things that you just have to call it. You know what I mean? And it sucks because you want to be able to compete. You want to, not only for yourself, but for your fans, you want to make sure you can go in there and do what you're supposed to do. But Jaylen Brown is just so pivotal to that organization. And Jason Tatum, don't get me wrong, he like Tristan told him, he's a bad man. But at the end of the day, he's just one guy. And I don't want to, take away from, Kemba Walker or Marcus Smart and things of that nature. But at the end of the day, you need Jaylen. And then that's just what it is. And it's unfortunate because a lot of teams this season are in this situation. A lot of teams are facing injuries from key players. I think the only team that I can think that really overcame that in epic fashion is the Denver Nuggets, and that's because Nikola Jokic is just that good, So, and it sucks, but they're not going to make it out of the play-in. In my opinion, I don't know if there's any Celtics fans in here. And if you are, I'm not trying to disrespect you. I just don't think without Jaylen Brown, you can actually make it out of the play-in. But you do have to kind of look on the bright side and say, hey, we do have this good squad. It's unfortunate that injuries has plagued the entire league this season. So what does this mean for us next season? Do we need to be in a position where if one of our star players get hurt, we have some depth on our roster and we can still maintain this? So there's some questions that you need to answer in this situation. But no, there's no way possible that they're going to make it out of the play-in. In my opinion, y'all can write this down. And if I'm wrong, this will be one of those times where I would love to be wrong, but I just don't think that they're going to make it out the play-in without Jaylen because he's just so crucial to that entire scheme. So I just don't think they'll make it out.
So like you mentioned, there is obviously a lot of talent on the Celtics roster, but now with Jaylen Brown out, the conversation that we're hearing is really similar to the sentiments that you're expressing, Jackie. So do you feel like we need to be giving Jaylen more credit for how the contributions he makes to the team and how valuable he is to that roster? Because he is surrounded by talent, but without Jaylen, it just seems like their hopes of getting past the play-in tournament are just so depleted across, NBA fans in general.
Yeah, it's one of those things, and I can't believe I'm about to say this, but Shaq, I saw him on a halftime show, and he was talking about how we really just don't give credit to role players and how important they are. Jaylen is more than a role player, but at the end of the day, it's almost like having a puzzle and all the pieces, and then if Jaylen's not there, the puzzle's just not going to be finished. So you have to understand how good he is to that organization. Jason is the star player for sure, but you can't just have one guy be a star. You need role players. Role players are valuable so much. Guys who can play their role and play it well. That's why I always tell people, don't always look at, like when you're looking at a Draymond Green, no, he doesn't score a lot, but the things he does outside of that is really great. So they have a great talent on that team. So while this is discouraging, it doesn't take away from the talent of anyone else on that roster at all. But it does just show you how much you guys need each other. That's not a bad thing. It's a team sport. It's not a bad thing. But I think instead of Celtics fans kind of being down about this moment in time, you just kind of have to realize that I think a lot of this had to do with you coming back too quickly, not getting that break during the All-Star that we thought we were going to get. So there's a lot of factors that went into this because injuries aren't just plaguing this team. They're plaguing every single team in the NBA right now. So it is a thing. But if I'm a Celtics fan right now, although I'm kind of, depressed that this isn't happening for me, I'm still excited about the squad that I have right now. I'm still excited about the pieces that we have. And this isn't a career-ending injury. And then, you have to kind of equate how far would you have gotten in the playoffs anyway? Would you have been that surprise team? I don't think so, but you still want to be able to compete. But Jaylen Brown, I think he gets a lot of credit. So I don't know if I don't think he gets enough credit. Maybe I just give him a lot of credit because I think, he's my guy. So maybe I'm the one that's giving him all the credit. Could be just me. But I give that man a lot of credit. So it's not me if he's not getting the credit. I give that man a lot of credit because I love Jaylen Brown. But I don't think he's not getting the credit, but I think that whole team, their talent is there. This is a discouraging time because of this injury, but as a whole, you do have things to get excited about and you do have, a future to look forward to. It's just injuries suck this year. Let me get to JD real quick. He says, I'm a Celtics fan. They are a first round exit. I feel for Boston. Jaylen was so underappreciated and the most underrated player in the league, in my opinion. JT and Kemba need to step up. They do. And this is going to be one of those next man up situations. How do you look now that you have to make up for Jaylen? Jaylen, that man's got a phenomenal highlight reel. If you guys want to go to YouTube and just put in Jaylen Brown, his highlight reel is phenomenal. So he does deserve all the credit. And it is one of those moments where now you have to appreciate him more because now you understand how limited you are in the success you're going to get because you're without him now. So next man up is a good thing, but without Jaylen, it just doesn't work. I just don't see it working. But again, that's not a bad thing because you do have a bright future, but it's done right now.
Right. I think I'm with you on that one. But if they do want to have any sort of hopes of making it past the play-in, what do you think they need to do? Where are the areas where they can improve and fill in the gaps where Jaylen Brown, that Jaylen Brown is left over?
I mean, it's just like JD said. Kemba Walker, Marcus Smart. They're gonna have to step up. Jason Tatum's gonna have to He's gonna have to carry the weight, the huge part of the weight of that team on his shoulders for a while. And I think he can do it. It's going to be one of those things where you have to do it if you really want to succeed. So I think you kind of run the offense through Jason Tatum, and then like we said, Kemba Walker and Marcus Smart have to step up, and then. But then, I mean, even if they do that and they get out of the play-in, I still don't see that, still a first-round exit. And I don't want that to be a discouraging thing, like I said, because at this point, if you're a first-round exit, that's because you don't have your full team. You're not a full unit. So it's not a bad thing, because now you have to ask these questions. How far would we have gotten if we were a full unit? And those are legitimate questions to ask, because I do think they're a very talented team. I do think they're doing very, very well, even though as a Laker fan, I'm not a big fan of that. But still, I think, without Jaylen in there, it falls kind of squarely on Jason Tatum's shoulder. And then Kemba Walker and Marcus Smart after that have to be the ones to step up. But it's possible, I guess. Maybe. I don't see it happening, but maybe.
I mean, I would go so far as to say that now, without a pivotal member of the team like Jaylen Brown, it kind of is a lost cause at this point for this season. But like you said, moving on into next season, they do have a good squad, and I think that there's a lot of talent there, so they can do a lot with what they've got. But for this season, I just feel like it's probably not happening for them, and I feel like you agree with me on that, Jackie. I mean, there's, I guess, a slim chance that things could turn out differently. We've seen crazy things happen in the postseason, but I just don't imagine this being one of them. And again, that's no shade to Celtics fans. It's just looking at the facts here.
And Julio, real quick, Julio said, don't forget about Evan. I always forget about Evan, but you're absolutely right. Evan is very talented as well. I always forget about him, though. I don't know why that is, but I always do. But yes, but still, I just don't see without Jaylen, I still don't see them. I still think it falls squarely on the shoulders of Jason Tatum, and that's a huge weight to carry sometimes.
It's a huge weight to carry. That's major. Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm going to move on into another team that did surprise us. Really, really, really surprised us, the Knicks, okay? But let's talk about what went right with the Knicks this season, because they've really had quite a stellar year so far. And I think that I want to talk about whether or not we can kind of give this credit to Derrick Rose, because that reunion between D Rose and the Knicks was sort of like this fairy tale story this season. So he obviously once played at Madison Square Garden as their starting point guard, and the expectations for him were very high but it was, I think, Phil Jackson's insistence on using that triangle offense that just really didn't work out for them. But this time around, D Rose is back with the Knicks, and he's being coached by Coach Thibs, and that man knows him very, very well, and I think knows how to work with him, knows how to really kind of like be a good coach to him and guide him in the right direction. So having D Rose on the team has helped the Knicks rank in among the NBA's top defensive teams. And ever since he was traded to the team on February 8th, they have a 27-15 record. Now, this isn't to say that Julius Randle doesn't deserve any credit, because obviously Julius Randle has made some huge, important, valuable contributions to the team this season. He has been that standout player, and it just seemed like all around the Knicks received this stroke of good luck. They've had some good fortune coming to them, but who deserves the credit? Do you think that it's Derrick Rose? Is it Coach Thibs? Is it Julius Randle? Is it just a team effort? Who do you think made the biggest impact, Jackie?
I mean, I've said it before, and I guess I'll just say it again. It's Julius Randle for me. It's just Julius Randle all day, every day, just from his work ethic, how the team he's the gel. He's the gel for that team. And he's, in my opinion, I know Kevin Pryor in the chat, he doesn't give all the credit to Julius like I do. But to me, Julius has been the factor that has made them kind of turn this corner and become a different team. That's not to say that Derrick Rose is not valuable. Derrick Rose coming off the bench is is incredible to me because it makes you have that second team has to be as good. We talk about this all the time. When the Warriors were at their heyday, their second squad was just as good as their first squad. So you didn't really have that break. So Derrick Rose coming off the bench to me is beautiful. And I do agree that he is bringing out, I don't want to say the best because it's always been there with Derrick Rose, but he's really kind of fine tuning some things, kind of helping Derrick be the guy that we've always thought he was going to be. We've been rooting for Derrick Rose since day one. And unfortunately, injuries has made it really hard to root for him sometimes because he just is always into injury situations. So I'm not going to take anything away from Derrick Rose because I think he's doing a phenomenal job. But if I'm giving credit, and I know Kevin Pryor's in the chat, and I know there's another Knicks fan. I can't remember who the other Knicks fan is in the chat, but let me know what you think. But to me, it's Julius Randle. Julius Randle is the reason why that organization is succeeding the way that they are, that they're stepping up the way that they are, because it's not even just what he does on the court. I think he's just a leader for them, and he's somebody you can rally behind. He's somebody that you kind of follow his lead. He brings in that new energy. We talked about him being the guy that when they travel, he's going to find that school that's open. And he's that coach that said that he's the first person to do that since Kobe. And this high school guy that opened the gym for him. But that's also instilling that in other guys. Now other guys are joining him in this venture. So the work ethic has gone up because of Julius Randle. So for me, it's Julius. I'm not taking anything away from Derrick because Derrick is my guy. But yeah, for me, it's definitely Julius Randle that's made the difference for that. Oh, there's Kevin. I was waiting. He says, the biggest difference is assistant coach Kenny Payne. That Kentucky connection has helped Randle become the monster he has become. So again, that's still a Julius point, though. Again, I'm not taking that away from Derrick Rose, but it's Julius for me all day, every day.
I think most people would agree, but it's nice to see where D Rose has come in and been able to kind of like change the way the team is and help elevate the team. I want to talk to you about what JD said in the chat here. He wrote, Julius Randle is an MVP candidate and the most improved player. Derrick Rose should be in consideration for 6th man of the year, top 3 in that award. How do you feel about that? Do you agree with what JD is saying? JD's coming out here with these little nuggets that I'm liking what JD's saying today.
Yeah. You know what? I have to say I've not considered Derrick Rose for the 6th man of the year. But I think yeah, I don't know, top 5, he should be in that conversation for sure. I definitely agree with that. Because of what he's done. And don't forget the uphill battle that he's had to go through just to get to this point, to be this kind of asset to the team. The man has always had the talent. The talent has never been the issue. It's getting him into a system where he fits well, number 1, where they utilize him well, number 2, and where he can stay healthy, number 3. So the fact that all of these things are kind of firing for him right now, he definitely deserves an honorable mention, if nothing else, because he's put in the work. And he's overcome a lot just to get to this point. And he is vital to that team. Again, I tell people all the time when I'm talking to my nephew who is trying to start playing basketball super late in his life, but that's a whole nother story. But I tell him all the time, it's not a bad thing to come off the bench because you can't win if the guys on the bench are complete trash. It's a team effort, so it's one of those things where you can be the star off the bench. We've seen that time and time again, and I think that Derrick is definitely in contention for that. He should at least be in that conversation. So shouts out to JD for bringing that up. But again, for me, it's still Julius Randle. That now Sule has my 6th man. Carmelo Anthony is my 6th man of the year. Like if I'm going to call a 6th man right now, it would definitely be Carmelo Anthony for me. But I still think Derrick Rose should be in that top 5 conversation. But the winner by unanimous Jackie Ray and Sule man decision is Carmelo Anthony.
All right, and the final question that I want to ask you, Jackie, before we get into the post-up, obviously we're impressed that the Knicks have been able to have the season that they've had, but is it even more impressive knowing how the Eastern Conference has been really competitive and really tough this season?
Absolutely, because it's not a small feat right now, because when you're competing, we got on the Nets really bad for not having their full squad to compete against the Knicks, because we're like, you have to be able to compete against tough competition. And we're at the point in our lives now where we're saying the Knicks are tough competition. And I think that's so weird for me to say, but it is beautiful. You know, I giggle every time I say it. Well, did you beat the Knicks? Why am I saying that? You know, I giggle every time I say that. But I think that what the Knicks fans need to really embrace, your squad right now is dope. It's only going to get better from here. The chemistry that they're going to build together is only going to get better. We're only going to be talking about Derrick Rose and as that 6-man off the bench asset. That's only going to get better from here, provided he can stay healthy. That's only going to get better from here. So we've gone from everybody being surprised that the Knicks are who they are to maybe next season. Now we're talking about the Knicks are the team to beat for whatever reason, because we still have to watch this ego experiment work out for the Nets. And then depending on how that works, if it doesn't work out well, the conversation, I'm telling you, mark my words, if that does not work out well, that conversation is going to shift to the Knicks, because there's not a lot of egos on that team. They are playing good as a team, and that's what you need to succeed in the long run. So I think Knicks fans should really be proud regardless of what's going on, and just be happy with the fact that we are all acknowledging that, yes, the league is better when the Knicks are winning. It's fun to talk about the Knicks. It's fun to see this trend happening, and we don't have to bash them all the time. It's a fun trend to see, and so congratulations. I love it.
And I think that Knicks fans are happy no matter what happens in the postseason. I think that just even getting this far and no longer being the laughingstock of the NBA is enough to just like live off of for a little while longer.
Right.
But it is really, really fun to see the Knicks just having this season. And you don't even have to be a Knicks fan to enjoy that. It's good.
Yep.
It's a good feeling. So, and I love what you said, Jackie, about them not having egos. I think that's also really cool to see with the Knicks, is that there's nobody that's, clamoring for the spotlight. They all are working together. It's working out well for them. It's this Cinderella story. So congratulations to the Knicks and Knicks fans. I'm very thrilled for you. And on that note, let's wrap up Need to Know News. Jackie, what is happening in the post up?
All right, let's get into the post up. Okay, let me just tell you a little fun story. If all of a sudden I look like I'm moving, you're not having some sort of spell. My desk is a moving desk right now. I haven't figured out how to stop it from shifting. So don't feel like you're having a mental moment. You're fine. I just want to put that out there for a second. But let's jump right into this post up, because this first one is hilarious to me. Because I mean, this is the definition of a say less moment, because your timing is off, my guy. So Kent Bazemore is basically saying that Bradley Beal hurt himself trying to keep up with Steph, but his timing is wrong. I'm gonna let you hear what he said, and then I'm gonna explain to you why the timing is wrong, but take a listen.
It would be scary. 49 points in 29 minutes, though, that's unreal. And we got guys hurting hamstrings trying to keep up, so yeah, I got to do some research on that. Oh, you got me, money.
Okay, the devil laugh at the end. I could have done without the devil, villain laugh at the end. That's number one. Number two, his timing is off. So he's saying that Bradley Beal basically, hurt his hamstring trying to keep up with Steph. But it wasn't like that. Bradley scored his 50 points first. Steph saw it, then said he was aware of it, and then that's when he went out and did his thing. The timing is absolutely wrong, my guy. He did not hurt himself trying to keep up with Steph. Steph got that game trying to keep up with Bradley. Get it right. But nonetheless, Bradley Beal did see it, and he went to Twitter to post about it. So let me get that one up for you. This person is right, because when I first saw it, I was like, well, maybe there's a whole there's a whole thing, because he had to know the timing was wrong, because Steph just said in his post-game interview that he saw Bradley's score going into this game. But this person says, I saw that quote and thought maybe it wasn't a real quote. But maybe it wasn't that bad. It was taken out of context. Somehow after watching this, it seems worse than just reading it. It does seem worse than, because I read it first as well. It does seem worse when you actually see it. But Bradley Beal saw this, and he's like, let me comment about this. And he says, I stay in my lane. I focus on Brad. I don't care what another man is doing in this league. I'm concerned about me and my guys over here. Keep that goofy stuff over there, Kent Bazemore. And I totally agree with that. Like, stop with the corniness, my guy. And then he did have another response to that as well. And he called him basically a clown. And then he tagged him in that as well. He tagged him in both posts like, hey, clown, how you doing? And I love this reaction from another user that's like, maybe Kent needs to worry about Kent. He says, I wouldn't hold my breath for a response. But hey, maybe after a long night of 8 points, 1 assist, and 1 rebound, and those 6 turnovers and 6 fouls, he'll have some time. Like, you over here being irrelevant. Worry about yourself. Like, I cannot stand Kent now. All of a sudden, I'm not a Kent fan like that. It's just so easy for me to not like you when you come for people that I actually like. But Devin, what did you think about this?
I mean, I thought it was really, really tasteless for him to say something like that. I think anytime another athlete drags somebody else who's just been injured, it's just really, to me, a low blow. And it really just kind of reduces your character and who you are to this low, low, low level. I never, ever like that. And you guys know I love the back and forth. I love the drama, but don't come for a guy who's just been injured and whose future with the team is, and for the season, is very fuzzy and up in the air. To me, that's just like you're kicking a man while he's already down. But when I watched that video, I almost felt like that moment after he said that, like, we guys hurting hamstrings trying to keep up. And he kind of like swayed side to side and awkwardly smiled. It's almost like he had this moment in his head where he was like, ooh, I shouldn't have said that. To me, it was like he immediately.
Oh, that's how you took it?
Sort of.
Oh, I didn't take it like that.
You didn't take it like that?
I took it no, because when he swayed, he was like, that sway was a sway of, let me let y'all take a moment to figure out what I'm talking about. It was a cocky sway. Because he even said it at the end. He's like, some of y'all gonna have to research that to figure out what I'm talking about. And then one reporter knew it. And then he was like, you see what I'm talking about? Ha, 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 ha. He knew exactly.
Let me tell you how I interpreted all of that, because I thought the sway was him being like, ooh, shit, I shouldn't have said that. That was a bad move. But then when he saw that the other reporter was kind of like, oh, I know what he's talking about, I'm going to validate what he said, he got his confidence back and he was like, yeah, you know what I'm trying to say. So I thought he had a moment of regret. But maybe I'm giving him too much credit here. I'm trying to give this guy the benefit of the doubt, which I do typically do. But maybe you were right, Jackie. I did not like this, though. And I don't know if you're planning on getting into this at all, but I love that Bradley Beal's wife came for him, too. Did you guys see that?
I did not know that. Oh, give us the tea, Devin.
She went at it. She was just dragging him. She was saying so much. I want to read some of the tweets really quickly. She said she included an image of Kent's stats, and then she said, I'm going to just leave this right here. Sometimes your best bet is to just shut up. She said, I'm always going to ride for mine. Never do you have to put one person down to make another feel good. That's a characteristic of a weak person, which I agree 1,000%. And then she said, I'm mad we even giving relevancy to someone most people didn't even know was still in the league. So, hell yeah. Bradley Beal's wife.
Come on, wifey. Yes. Look, now you my favorite. You my second favorite wife in the league. Come on, wifey. Come on, wifey. I love that.
So do I. So good.
Oh, I love that. All right. So wifey wins that one hands down. Can't say less. Just say less. But I'm not taking it away from Steph. I feel like I have to say that before Jeremiah goes into this whole they hating on Steph. Not hating on Steph. We're not doing that. But he did score another 36 points last night. The Warriors beat the Jazz by 3 points. Let me be clear that Donovan Mitchell and Mike Conley were not playing, but they did win by 3 points nonetheless. And Steph did hit the winning shot. So take a look.
The advantage, good! If at first you don't succeed, you know what they say. Try again, especially if your name is Stephen Curry. What a big shot.
So Looney gave Steph a second opportunity, and he cashes in a 3 and a 1-point lead with 13 seconds left.
He's just so big time, and he never loses confidence.
So let me
missed the first.
Let me tell you where Looney messed up. And because I think in his head, he felt confident that maybe Steph wasn't going to make that shot because Steph was not shooting well last night. Let's be clear about it. Steph was not shooting well last night. And I think I actually have a tweet where a user actually noticed that as well, said, had a bad shooting night, doesn't matter, still hit the clutch shot. And that's the thing that I think everybody loves about Steph. Steph can have a horrible night and still come back and beat you. He was actually 3 for 13 from 3 points, and then it was 11 for 25 from the field. So he'd only made 3 3-pointers during the night. That was one of the 3. So I feel like Looney just eased up on him a little bit because he was having an off night. He had just shot a shot right before that and missed it. And then he gave him another opportunity. And I feel like just Looney was like, he's having an off night. You can never, let me just give this a word of advice to anybody who's going up against the Warriors. You can never play off Steph like that. I don't care if he's having an off night or not. You got to just know that at any moment that man's hands can get hot. And when you only have a little bit of time left in the game, you need to assume that that's going to be that moment. But I love that little smile at the end where he just kind of realized he got it. Ooh, Gary Turbo in the chat. I see you going to make Jeremiah mad. He said Steph is overrated. You go make Jeremiah mad. You might want to, he's about to come for you. But shouts out to Steph. And that's the mindset that I think every basketball, no matter, what happened? Is that me? I don't be knowing. My setup over here is so sketchy. There it is. There's that smile. That little gotcha. I love that smile from him because he just doesn't give up. He doesn't care if he has an off night. He doesn't give up. If his team needs him, he's going to keep shooting. Fun fact, though, he actually shoots more than Bradley Beal, though. So Bradley Beal is getting the points that he's getting, taking less shots than Steph Curry is. That's not a hate. That's just a fact. I just threw it out there. But let's move on to this next one because I don't want to hear anybody say that this man is a stat patter because I feel like when y'all say that, you forget that in order to get a triple-double, that means your assists have to be in double digits as well. You're not hogging the ball all the time. You don't get that assist stat unless you are actually passing the ball. So Russell is celebrating himself. I checked. I don't believe this music is copyright, so we can play. I don't know if he created this celebratory video or if he just snagged it from somebody else, but he is celebrating himself on his Instagram because now he is the triple-double all-time leader. I wish we could do that fake round of applause noise, but congratulations, Russell. Let's see how he celebrated on his Instagram.
Russell Westbrook!
That's crazy.
To the basket with authority.
Russell driving. Russell scores! What a pass! Play of the day!
Russell Westbrook offering another triple-double, closing in on Oscar Robertson. Bingo, you've got company. 41st triple-double this season.
Russell Westbrook has broken the single-season record. Back to Russ. Deep shot. What a perfect ending! Cards back together. Beautiful combination with Westbrook. Slams it home.
Russell Westbrook might not be from this planet.
Steal. Here's Westbrook for 3. He hits it. Wow. Unbelievable. Westbrook with a game to remember.
Just carved him up in every aspect of the game.
Westbrook all the way up court. Touchdown.
Yay! I'm sorry, I had to let that play. Y'all know Russell is my guy. I am so immensely proud of him and all that he does. I see y'all already hating in the chat. See, Jeremiah, this is why you think everybody else is hating, because you do so much hating that you assume everybody else is hating. So stop hating on Russell. But he's out there doing his thing, and he leaves it all on the court every single time. I love that man so much. He does everything he can. He's not going to let no reporters talk trash about his teams. He's going to get those assists. He's going to get those rebounds. He's going to be everything that you need him to be. Shouts out to him. I love him so much. And then he posted another celebratory shot of himself on his Instagram. It says Russell Westbrook, all-time triple-double leader. I love this, and especially seeing how long he's been doing it. We saw him with OKC and then the Rockets and now the Wizards. Like, it's just so phenomenal to see his journey in this league. I'm so, so proud of him. It's a beautiful thing. And you know what you do when you're really, really good? You salute really, really good players. So great recognizes great. And I love this because King James is all up in the comments, says keeping on, and gives him the, the strong arm, praying hands, and the crown. Got him a crown, a king crown. You know, when the king gives you the crown, that's dope. But this next one too, I want you to see who's in the comments on this next post, because it's one of our fan favorites here in LA. First we got Jalen Ramsey. John Morant calls him the GOAT for sure. Legendary. I love all this. I love that all these players came out to kind of shout him out on his Instagram. And then here comes my boy in this last one. Oh no, there he is right there. That's our boy. The Caruso is at the bottom, calling him, GOAT twice. I love when basketball players come out and salute other guys doing greatness. I'm so proud of Russell. I don't even know what to do. I'm probably just gushing like I'm his sister or something. But congratulations. I love you so much, Russell. This is a beautiful thing. Devin, I know you got something to say about this.
I mean, I think it's very exciting, and I'm also really frustrated by what I see in the chat because everybody's talking like this guy says he hides his averageness behind triple doubles. He's played with KD, Harden, and PG-13 and has nothing to show for it. The conversation is always coming back to the rings. But why can we not give credit where credit is due when somebody does something impressive and remarkable? Danny Green has a ring from last season. What did he do? Dame Lillard, no rings. Look at what he does on the court. Like, you guys, these conversations are so ridiculous. A ring is not the only way to show that you can actually play and that you're actually a good player. I'm proud of Russell Westbrook. I think that he is awesome. I love how humble he is. I love the way he carries himself. I love when he goes after fans when they say stupid stuff in the stands. Like, everything about him I think is great. And yeah, we'd like to see him win a ring, but that doesn't take away from this remarkable history-making moment for him. You guys need to settle down in the chat. Jeez.
I don't know who said that he hides that he's not good behind the triple. That's not even smart. Who said that? That's not smart. How do you get a triple double if you're not good?
Micah Kiemba.
I feel like you're supposed to be in school paying attention right now, so I'm gonna need you to go pay attention because that didn't even sound right. That don't even make mathematical sense. You better not be in your math class not paying attention because you clearly need to pay attention. So we're gonna move on to this next one right now because that don't even make sense. All right. So let me just get to this next one because I want to let you know right now. This is not like we see this all the time and it's so infuriating to us, especially because we see it more with the boxing and these exhibition games that these so-called quasi-celebrities, this one's actually a real celebrity, trying to do something they're not actually good at. So that's not the case in this situation. I've always thought at some point Chris Brown was going to stop singing and play basketball because that man is actually very, very good. But I just didn't, I knew J. Cole was good, but I didn't know he was actually, trying to do this. But I was surprised. So let me show you this video. And then I was like, I don't know if he's got the physique for it because he's always wearing those baggy clothes. So I always kind of forget that he's not like a tiny, tiny guy. But here he is, and this is him preparing to play basketball. So let me show you this tweet because now he's not doing it just for fun. He's actually going to be doing it for a team. So this says American rapper J. Cole is in Rwanda. First of all, shouts out for going to Rwanda to do this. That's dope. And it could feature the local side Patriots at the upcoming Basketball Africa League. The New Times has learned he is on the club's roster for competition. He is about to play professional ball in Africa, which I think is so dope. He's definitely, well, let me not say definitely because I've not seen who else is on that squad. But if you guys just think he's doing this for fun or whatever, no. Let me let y'all know. J. Cole can play some basketball. Let me show you this video of him playing a pickup game with some guys that are actually in the NBA. So check this video out. See, so he can actually play. And this is one of those things that's like what we talked about yesterday with DK Metcalf. I have never in my life watched an African basketball game. Guess what I'm going to do now? I'm about to go. As soon as J. Cole actually makes the active roster, all of a sudden I'm going to have to find out how I got that Fire Stick. So I'm going to have to figure out how I can watch this. But now all of a sudden I'm going to be watching African basketball. There's upsides to this when the person who this isn't their normal thing when they actually are good, because if you don't believe me, just go to YouTube and put in J. Cole playing basketball. There's tons of videos of this man playing basketball to the point where people started commenting maybe you should just play basketball because you play more basketball than you making music. Well, for those of y'all who said that, here you go. So he's doing what you said. I actually really love this. Devin, what do you think about all this?
Well, I think you brought up a great point about now we have more eyes that maybe wouldn't even really be paying attention to basketball in general, now focusing on this team that J. Cole is going to be playing on. And I think it's really cool. I remember, I think it was about a year ago, J. Cole said that he was trying to train for the NBA. And if he goes into these games and he's on this roster and puts up a solid performance, maybe that would entice a team in the NBA to actually take a look at him as a potential, person to sign. So it is a very cool thing. And I also want to give him and his PR team credit because this week, not only did we learn he is playing basketball in Rwanda, he also released a new album or is releasing a new album. He released a documentary. It's all part of this grand plan. Now everybody's focusing on J. Cole. He's going to be bringing in a lot of money, I think.
Yeah, and not only that, the album cover for his new album, in the back, go check it out, there's a basketball rim on fire. So now it just makes this whole, even his album cover makes sense. Everything's just cohesive. I love it. I love it. All right, let's get into this next one because I've got some good news. At least I think it's good news because I told y'all Chad Johnson fighting in a fight was the dumbest thing ever. He got on that whole show, I Am Athlete, talking about, I'm good at everything I do. You about to be good at getting knocked out, sir. But he has changed his mind. I'm so happy about this. Take a look at this tweet because I'm excited about this. Chad Johnson didn't want smoke from Pac-Man Jones. Facts. So Chad Johnson and Pac-Man Jones were in talks to fight on Floyd Mayweather versus Logan Paul undercard until Johnson refused to fight. So now this is what y'all need to pay attention to because this is smart on the part of Chad Johnson because I agree with this next user. This is not a fight you take. You only take fights that you know you can win. He said Pac-Man Jones ain't no joke. He'll definitely throw down and not give a damn. Ocho Cinco don't want those hands. Facts. Don't take a fight that you know you can't win. Now, you cannot fight, though, Chad. I feel like I need to say this to you. This doesn't mean you just wait for somebody you can actually beat and then take that fight because then you're going to look stupid. This just means don't fight at all. So this is good news. I hope that Chad knows this. Chad is not going to fight because seeing him get knocked out, which I do believe if he fights Pac-Man Jones, that is not an if. That is a win. How many rounds is it going to take Pac-Man Jones to knock out Chad Johnson? That's just me. Devin, what do you think?
Well, I thought he was still fighting. He just doesn't want to fight Pac-Man Jones, which makes a lot of sense.
He can't do that. He can't do that because if he does that, it looks like he knew he was going to get beat up. He has to just call it. I'm telling you, the smart thing would just be to call it.
But Jackie, let's take a look at Pac-Man Jones here because I think back in February, he beat up a security guard. I'm pretty sure it was this February. He beat up a security guard so badly that he was laying unconscious on the floor, and this was at a nightclub. That wasn't the first time. I mean, this guy, I would not want to fight him either. He knows he's going to be beat up.
You can't do that. So. You can't do that. You can't say, "Oh no, he gonna beat the hell out of me. I'm not gonna fight him." Give me that skinny kid in the back. You can't do that. You just can't fight now.
He's like, I'll fight the TikTok star. I'm not gonna fight Pac-Man Jones.
He's like, ain't there some girls on the Fumble? Bring them in. I'll fight them, but I'm not fight. You can't do that because now you're gonna look like an idiot. You can't. You just can't fight. Right?
Actually, Jackie, I'm gonna let you take that fight. I'm not gonna do it.
Look, I'll do it. I'll figure out a way to put tasers in my gloves and just and just something like that. But he can't fight now. In my opinion, if he fights at all now, you just look soft. This would be the epitome of looking soft because you passed on a fight with somebody you knew you couldn't beat. You just Chad, listen to your girl, okay? Just don't fight at all. Just be smart and don't fight. All right, let's move to the next one. Because if you have never been in this situation, hopefully you won't. Hopefully you'll be an entrepreneur from day one and don't actually have to work a regular job. But if you actually work one of those regular jobs until you get to your dream job, there's always going to be that one job that kind of sucks. But it's cool because you got that one person that's your ally. You guys have fun. You guys get the work done together and you kind of bounce off of each other. I think that Davante Adams, Aaron Rodgers is that person for him because there's this tweet that's out right now, which is a quote from him. It's a quote that he said when we're talking about will he stay with Green Bay or will he go if Aaron Rodgers goes? And he says, it doesn't mean potentially I'd be gone, but I definitely have to do some extra thinking if my guy wasn't here. That is the politically correct way to answer, hell yeah, I'm out. If my boy goes, I'm going. This organization is trash. The only reason I'm here is Aaron Rodgers. If he go, I go. But I can't say that, so I'm going to be like, it doesn't mean that. It just means that I would consider that. When somebody says that, that means that they already are thinking ahead in case that happens. So I think Green Bay is going to look entirely different. Personally, if Aaron Rodgers go, I think you can count Davante Adams in going. And this user kind of agrees with me in that sense. I have another tweet that says, deep down, he probably wants to win a ring very badly. So it wouldn't surprise me if he starts blowing up Tom Brady's phone to get him a spot in Tampa. I don't think that he would actually go to Tampa because I just don't know. I think you got to actually be friends with Tom Brady for him to really check for you like that. That's number one. But I think for Davante Adams, where this user is right, you can see the potential. Even if it doesn't happen, you can see the potential in your team. You can see the possibility of getting that ring as long as Aaron Rodgers is there. When Aaron Rodgers leaves, then it's like, okay, I'm just here to collect the check because there's no real hope, in my opinion. So I think Davante Adams just basically told us, if Aaron goes, I go. At least that's what I think. But we'll have to wait to see how this one goes. But this is our last post up for the day. And I got to tell you, this is the best way to go out because if and when I get married, this is how I am going to be. I'm going to be Xing out a lot of teams. So I love this post. This guy's actually a pretty big realtor. And he says, the picture my wife takes versus the picture my wife posts, #real1. So let's blow them up. Let me show you the actual picture because I know it's hard to tell. They kind of look the same. So this is their, family dinner or whatever. You see the hubby in the back. I think that's her hubby in the back that has the 49er jersey on. That's the picture she took. This is the picture she posted on all of her social media. And if you can't tell, the 49er thing has been removed. I actually love this. She don't care nothing about your fandom. We don't do 49ers in this house, and we definitely not going to do them on social media. I love this. Twitter had some responses to it. It was clearly split down the middle. Some people were like, yes, who cares? She's a great cook. This guy says if she's putting out, what is that chart? What is this food, Devin? What is this food?
So it's a charcuterie board. It's just a board.
What is that?
It's bougie. It's just like people do it because it's bougie.
Okay, my bougie level just went down because I didn't know what the hell that was. I was like, what is this? Anyway, so my bougie level just went down by 10 points. So if she's putting out a charcuterie spread like that, she can make your shirt say whatever she does or doesn't want it to say. So yay for the bougie board. But this one's like, oh, hell no, that's not what we're doing. So can't be friends with your wife. Nope. This is she's sleeping on the couch level. I like that too. Ride for your team, people. No matter who your team is, if they're good, if they're bad, if they're going to be awful to Jimmy G, which I'm sure makes Devin feel something. No matter what, ride for your squad. I love that. So let's get into what we not going to do because we got some time. So we're going to, if you guys have thoughts on this one, let me know. Of course, Devin, I'm going to come to you for your thought at the end of this. But Des Bryant has made a point, and I think it's interesting that this point is coming from Des Bryant. So let's just kind of dive into this one because this one, when I saw the original headline, pissed me all the way off. When I saw that Tim Tebow, you guys do remember Tim Tebow, right? He's the Florida Gator that came to the league for the Denver Broncos. He took a knee for Jesus in the end zone long before Colin Kaepernick took a knee. Everybody applauded him for that. Him taking that knee was fine, but he was the guy who took a knee in the end zone. He only played 3 seasons in the NFL because he was not a good quarterback. He was not good. He had a shining moment with the Broncos, but he was easy to figure out, and then his success kind of went awry after that. But he just wasn't good. But he played 3 seasons, 2 with Denver, I think 1 with the Jets. Just wasn't a good quarterback. But people said, hey, you know what? You're supposed to be a tight end. Sidebar, Taysom Hill, please go and revisit the story of Tim Tebow because that's going to be you. You are not supposed to be a quarterback, sir. You are a tight end. Accept it so you can have a longer career in the NFL. Back to our regular schedule program. So he said, they told him, hey, if you're a tight end, we'll keep you. He didn't want any parts of that. He was like, no, absolutely not. I am a quarterback. If you don't want to play me as a quarterback, I don't want to play. So that's ultimately what happened. And then he went to commentate college football. Wasn't very good at that either. Just fun fact. But anyway, so he played from 2010 to 2012. So it's been 9 years since he has played in the league. 9 years since he's played in the league. Since then, he hasn't posted any workout videos. You know, we see these types of videos from guys that aren't in the league. All of a sudden, their social media becomes filled with them working out in the gym, eating right, them running routes and practicing with guys that are in the NFL so they can show they are up to speed. They're still in NFL shape. They do all this work in social media to present like, hey, I'm here. I'm still relevant. I'm still working hard. Please give me a chance. I ain't seen. Now, granted, I don't follow him like that. But, you know, y'all, we check social media. If Tim Tebow was out here doing workout videos, if anybody would have caught that, we would have caught that. I have not seen not nary a video like that from Tim Tebow. But nonetheless, now we find out that he has signed, obviously has not signed as a quarterback because, like I said, he's not good. But he has signed as a tight end for the Jags. So this is why this pisses me off. 9 years since Tim Tebow has played in the league, right? Eric Reed, who is exponentially right now today a better tight end than Tim Tebow, he doesn't have a job. He hasn't worked in the league since 2019. Why? Because he took a knee with Colin Kaepernick to raise awareness about social injustice to black people. So you have this white guy that takes a knee for Jesus, and that's cool. This black guy who takes a knee for equality. Oh, hell no, you can't play in the league anymore, even though you're so much better than this white guy that hasn't played for 9 years. We're going to go get him. Make it make sense. So Des Bryant, now obviously Des Bryant is talking about him. I'm talking about Eric Reed. He's talking about himself. But Des Bryant noticed the difference as well. And he posted this to Twitter, and he said, so Tim Tebow hasn't played an NFL game in damn near a decade, and it's that simple. No hate, but you got to be kidding me. You really got to be kidding me with this, y'all. This don't make no sense. Of all the guys that are a year, maybe 2 years tops out of the league, who are up to par, who are in shape, who are trying to get back in the league, you go get the white guy that takes the knee for Jesus, and then you blackball the black guy that took the knee. Stop it right now. So then Des was like, now that I got your attention, because obviously people pounced on that immediately. So then he was like, let me go back and let me say what I was saying. So he says, I knew this would get your attention, so read this. He says, regarding my last post, I knew it would cause controversy, and that was just to get your attention. This is not a slight at Tim Tebow. I'm happy for Tebow and want to see everyone succeed. I am saying to wake up and see what goes on and take care of yours. Pay attention to what goes on around us and look deeper than the lines. This is why I preach unity in Black society and taking care of us, lifting each other up. It's more than getting together and running routes and casually linking up. It's about truly connecting to build and create, controlling what we can control and building our own community. So Des is definitely better than me because I'm not wishing Tim Tebow the best. I'm just not. I am not at that place in my journey where I can see people get things that I know we're being slighted on simply because we are speaking out about the injustices that happen to us. And they do something similar, but it's not quite the same. And it's more accepted among the mass, Caucasian society. So they get opportunities we don't get. I'm not rooting for people who get those opportunities that should go to us. I'm not. Especially when you haven't even been in the league for 9 years. And when you left, it was because you left because you weren't good, number one, two, and you were stubborn because you didn't want to do what they wanted you to do. But now Tim Tebow's got a job, and I ain't even heard Eric Reed's name mentioned in a possibility in getting a job. So Des is talking about, hey, we got to stick together. And the reason why this is crazy for me that Des did this, because Des did things the way that the old white community would expect Black people to do it. So when this whole thing started with this social injustice, they asked Des Bryant, hey, how do you feel about this? And this man said, I'm not going to call him the name that I wanted to call him, but he said, well, I ain't never seen no racism myself, even though he's the one that they asked him during the combine, hey, is your mom a prostitute? And he lied and said, hey, I've never experienced racism. He did that because he didn't want to receive the negativity that every other Black person who was doing this protest in the NFL was receiving. So he tried to be the good Black guy. He tried to present himself in a way that makes white folks comfortable. And it didn't work for him. It did not work for him. And now he's out of the league, but he's still doing these workout videos. He's still staying humble. He's still not saying anything. Tim Tebow is still holier than thou, still being uber Christian, and nobody cares about that. They're just going to give him another shot. I am not on Team Dez in that aspect, but yes, we do need to stick together. But if we had stuck together then, we literally had the platform then, we could have demanded change then, and we didn't. We let it go by the wayside. For what? I don't know. Eric Reed still doesn't have a job. Colin Kaepernick's too far out of the league to even get a job now. Well, which is weird that I'm saying that because his time is a lot shorter than Tim Tebow's time. So it's weird that I'm saying that. But to me, he's too far out of the league now. But it's this level of privilege that they just throw in our face. They know damn well that Eric Reed is still out there. They don't care. They went and got this trash quarterback who decides he wants to play tight end now. It is appalling. And what we're not going to do is keep letting this stuff happen. And then it's guys like Bryant who have to say something about it. We should be saying something about it. We should be calling out these hypocrisies. And people in the NFL, players in the NFL, y'all need to call out this hypocrisy. I'm sorry. Tim Tebow does not deserve a job, period. I said it. I don't care how y'all feel about it. He does not deserve a job. If Eric Reed can't get a job, Tim Tebow should still be calling college football, period. There should be no gray areas in that. It is what it is to me. But that's all I got for what we not going to do. Devin, what do you think about this whole thing?
I mean, I think that when you look at Tim Tebow just being out for 9 years, even when you take away everything else, all of the other, social justice movements that we've seen, 9 years is a hell of a long time to be out of the league to earn yourself a spot again. I think that Dez's overarching message, what he said, preaching unity and sticking together and uplifting one another, I do appreciate that. But I also totally know what you mean, Jackie, when you say that, wishing Tim well is kind of him trying to be that more like palatable Black person. And I hate that Black athletes and just Black people in general have to find, themselves in situations where they are having to be a little bit more manageable and like bite-sized for white people. I think that that's really unfair, and I'm tired of seeing that as well. But the grand message that he's trying to communicate, I do appreciate, and I think is a good one, and it's a valid one. But I certainly would love to see someone like Colin Kaepernick with a job in the league, or Eric Reed with a job in the league over Tim. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Kevin Pryor says this is the second questionable decision Urban Meyer has done. First, bringing a racist strength and conditioning coach, and now this. So it just seems a lot of people are seeming that it's because Kevin says again, Tim's only getting this shot because of Urban Meyer not going to go over well in the locker room. It's just a media stunt, and it's a bad one at that. It makes no sense at all. 9
but
years.
You could still do the media stunt. You can still, if you really need a tight end, go get Eric Reed. That's a media stunt because people are going to feel some type, especially white America. They're going to feel some type of way about you bringing Eric Reed. They're going to overlook the fact that Eric Reed is dope. He's good at what he does. But 9 years, this is the dumbest thing. And this is making me question, because I always talk about athletes and I say sometimes college talent does not translate to the pros. I'm starting to think college coaching doesn't translate because he making a bunch of bonehead moves to me. This might not be your look, Urban. You might need to go back to college because I don't know if this is it.
I mean, Kevin's right when he says this is the second questionable decision. And the season hasn't even started and we're seeing this bizarre behavior happening here. So, I'm confused by this move. I think that it's a bizarre one. I think that there could have been way better options available. I don't know what somebody who has been out of the league for 9 years is going to bring to the table. But you know what? If they want to put themselves in this experiment, fine, go ahead. Let's watch you drive yourselves into the ground. But hopefully somebody will give someone like Eric Reed a shot because that's who truly deserves it here. But you know what? Let's wrap up the show for the day. We're going to be back tomorrow, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time as usual. So subscribe, tap the bell, leave a comment below, share this video with your friends. Have some good tacos today. Let us know what kind of tacos you get. Happy Taco Tuesday. We'll see you guys later. Bye, everybody.
Bye.